When a woman starts pulling away and you start chasing after her, she's gone, right? She's not gonna even look back. You're just pushing her further away. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and in this video I want to talk about why women pull away and how you should handle it, and also, just as importantly, the 5 big mistakes men make when a woman starts pulling away. Because let's face it, it's becoming increasingly frustrating for guys. It's happening. I see my clients going through this over and over again, where things start off great with a woman. She's totally into you. She's sending you the flirty text in the middle of the day. Every time you ask her to hang out, she's available. She's talking like there's a future between you. She's like mentioning, a party or a wedding she wants to go to 6 months from now, and you're thinking, girlfriend material, this is turning into something. And then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, something's changed. She gets a little bit distant when you're with her. Then the texts begin to become less flirty. They slow down. She's less responsive. When you ask her to hang out, you can almost hear the excuses in her brain as she's like scrambling to find some excuse before she's like, oh, it's my sister's cousin's birthday party. And you're like, what happened? Why was this girl that was totally into me not? So I want to go through 5 mistakes when this happens, because by going through these 5 mistakes, I think you're going to be able to see how some of the behavior leading up to her pulling away actually caused her to pull away. Mistakes that you were making before, and then the mistakes that you were making after she pulled away, that's what sent her packing, right? That's why she's gone. So we're going to go through these, and I want to explain why they're so deadly. I want to explain why making these mistakes will ultimately, even if a girl wasn't to you, even if she was attracted to you, even if she was thinking there was a future with you, you start making these mistakes, she's gone. And a lot of times, and this is really important, a lot of times when a woman initially starts pulling away, when she initially kind of slows down her, kind of puts the brakes on a little bit, right? Things are going smooth, and then all of a sudden you feel she put the brakes on. And what she's doing there is she's testing you. She's testing you to see how you handle it, right? And it's an unconscious test. She's not going, I'm going to test this guy now. It's like things are going great, and then there's something in her brain that's like, let me see if this is for real. Let me see if this guy really has his shit together, if he's really a cool, confident guy. And then when she pulls her attention back from you, that's when your true self comes out in her eyes. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, make the mistakes that we are going to go over right now. So mistake number 1, when a woman pulls away, the first mistake most men make is they confess their feelings, right? The thought goes through our mind, if she only knows how I feel, she would stay, right? If she only knew how much I liked her, she would stay. She would like me back in that same way. And we're convinced that for some reason, we think, well, maybe I didn't let her know I liked her enough. Maybe she didn't know I was serious enough about her, and that's why she's leaving, right? But here's the thing. Uncertainty in a woman's eyes is attractive, meaning if she's not sure what's going on with you, she's more likely to stay around because it's sort of a puzzle that she wants to solve. When she's completely sure what's going on, that's when she takes the break, right? When a woman senses this guy's really into me, she pulls back a little bit to give herself some breathing room, because she's like, wow, this is moving towards a relationship. Am I sure I want this, right? So she pulls back a little bit. And what happens is the guy does the complete opposite of what he should do. And he starts going further in his confessions of romantic interest and wanting to be with her. So now that space that she needed, she just needed a little space. Now she needs a whole lot of space because now she's suffocated, right? The minute you start saying, I really like you, you just made her decision for her, right? All she wanted was a little bit of space to figure out, whoa, this is kind of moving forward. Let me see if this is something I really want. And then you put the added pressure on her by telling her how much you like her, how special she is, how you see a future with her. And now she goes, I've got to stop this. I've got to stop this before it gets past the point of no return. So confessing your feelings, never a good idea. It's never the reason she's pulling away. Never, right? It's never that. I mean, here's the deal, right? If you are sleeping with 3 or 4 other women at the same time, and you are a complete player, maybe that's the case. But if she's the only girl you're talking to, it's not that she thinks you're not serious about her. I can promise you that, okay? Mistake number 2 is apologizing or explaining, right? I see this with my clients all the time too, because a lot of times when I'm working with somebody, I have them send me their text message exchanges with the woman, and I say, look, by looking at it, I can kind of see what went wrong. And what happens a lot of times is a guy makes a little mistake, right? Maybe he, maybe one night she asks him to hang out, and he goes to hang out with his friends. You know, he had a baseball game to go to with one of his friends, and all of a sudden, a week later, she's pulling away. So in his mind, what we do is we need to kind of find the answer, right? We always look through and we kind of play detective and we go, okay, what could it be? What did I do, right? And then we always go to some mistake we think we made, right? So we might go, oh, she wanted to hang out last Friday and I went to the baseball game with my friends instead. So then we start thinking, well, if I can let her know that I wish I didn't go to the baseball game, she's gonna like me again, right? She's gonna go, oh, he is a good guy. So we text her something along the lines of, yeah, you know, I'm sorry I didn't hang out with you last week. I wanted, you know, I really wanted to, but my friend, or they explain, they just go into explanation mode, right? Sometimes I had one client who he made a joke, and the joke over text was hard to decipher, right? It was a little joke, it wasn't that funny. And then he sends me his text with her, and there's like 13 texts apologizing for making a stupid joke. And I'm like, dude, never, ever apologize. Never explain yourself. When you start apologizing or explaining yourself, especially for things that weren't really wrong, you come across as so weak in her eyes. You come across as so try-hard, such a pushover, that she's never going to be able to maintain any level of attraction for you. And that sense of her pulling away, she's gone, right? There's no turning back. There's no coming back from it. You never need to apologize. I mean, listen, if you've done something exceedingly wrong, right? You get drunk and you say something very insulting to her, by all means, apologize. But when you start apologizing for things that weren't really bad just because you can't fit, because what happens, like I said, is we get in this emotional quicksand. We sense that things are changing. We sense that she's getting a little distant with us. And we want to do anything to get her back. I get clients on the phone. We're like the Wile E. Coyote trying to develop a plan and figure it out, and that's all we can think about. And our mind starts convincing us, oh, it must have been this joke I made, or it was none of that, right? It was what I said, number one. She was pulling away because things were moving forward, and she was like, I need to see if this guy is for real. And then what do? You start explaining yourself, and that attraction she had plummets even further. So number 3 is winning her over with a gift, right? I'm just gonna write gift here. And again, I can't believe how many of my clients do this. I've created videos and everything saying, don't send a girl flowers. Don't do it, right? I mean, you can send your wife flowers. You can send your on your 1-year anniversary. All that is fine. Don't say that I'm never saying never send a woman flowers. I'm saying when you just start dating a woman and you sense she's pulling away, or you think it's going really well and it's 2 weeks in, don't send her flowers. But especially when she starts pulling away. Because again, just like confessing your feelings, buying her a gift puts pressure on her. And when she's not sure about you, the last thing you want to do is put pressure on her. Because pressure is the antithesis of her attraction towards you. The more pressure she feels from you, the less attraction she's going to feel. So when you buy her a gift, even if it's a small gift, even if I had one client, it was cold out and he sent her these gloves in the mail, and she got them, and she's like, why did you send these to me? And he's like, I just wanted to get you a gift. And in her eyes, it's not just a gift. In her eyes, it's pressure. You're sending her a big box of pressure, and that pressure is scaring the hell out of her because she needs time to think, and you're shoving pressure on her, okay? So no confessing feelings, no apologizing, no gifts. And here's what some guys do, right? Is they match coldness, okay? And what I mean by that is when a woman starts getting cold, there's some guys that think they're playing the game. So they go, well, I'm going to get cold too. I've done this. I can remember that there was a girl that I was really into. We were hanging out. Everything was going good. And then she kind of started ignoring my texts, and she started getting like really, taking 2 or 3 days to get back to me. And in my mind, I was like, well, I'm going to do that back to her. I'm going to take 2, 3 days to get back in touch with her. I'm going to act the same way she is, okay? And bear with me, because there's a right way and a wrong way to do this. So what happens, though, is we do this. We don't text her as much. We wait to respond to her. But what happens is the minute she does reach out to us, we immediately say, hey, do you want to hang out? And then what happens when you do that? She knows that you were just not texting her because you were playing a game. You were waiting just to wait. She doesn't think you were actually losing interest. She thinks, oh, he was just upset that I wasn't texting him, so he wasn't texting me. So when she does that, and I'll tell you, like, a better way to do it, right, I tell guys is that if you're waiting just to wait and you're not texting her and then she does reach out to you, don't immediately ask her to hang out. Hang up the phone with her or end the text conversation without the invite to hang out. Because the minute, and it's so, I know, listen, I know when you're really into a woman and she starts pulling away and you see that sort of sliver of hope that you can hang out with her again, you want to take it, right? You don't want to risk that this might be our last conversation. So you want to say, hey, we should get together, or hey, what are you doing? But when you're trying to be cold back to her and then you do that, she knows that it's for real. She knows you're just putting an act on and that she has you, right? And we always say, once a woman knows she has you, it's over. And you'll never have her. The minute she figures out she's the one holding the power, when she's the one with the upper hand, it's very, very hard to maintain attraction for her to you when that's the case, okay? So what do guys do after that? What is the next thing guys do? The ultimatum. Who here has ever given the ultimatum, right? Listen. My time is valuable, so if you don't want to hang out, then maybe we shouldn't see each other, right? We always do this ultimatum. And again, the problem with this ultimatum is a lot of different things. One is that it, just like all these other things, it puts more pressure on her. An ultimatum is pressure, and the last thing she wants in this situation is more pressure. So by giving her an ultimatum, you're essentially giving her a big box of pressure again. And that's going to make her take her bags and continue walking away from you. The other problem with an ultimatum is very similar to coldness, is that when you give an ultimatum, if you are not willing to, I always say, you have to display to a woman that you are willing to walk away, right? She's got to feel like, I can lose this guy. Now, an ultimatum, when you're not willing to walk away, is probably the worst thing you can do. Because if you give an ultimatum and then you still reach back out to her, which I know you're gonna do, I've done it, I've given the ultimatum, and then a couple weeks go by and I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it, and then I reach out, and then it's like she just knows that she's got you, right? She has you, you're not gonna walk away, you have no ability to walk away, and when she knows she has you, that bores her, she loses even more interest in you. Ultimatums are bad. They never work out. I've never seen a girl go, oh, wow, I might lose him. I better, he just told me that he's not going to call me again if I don't answer his text, or if I don't have the ability to hang out this weekend. I better do it. No, an ultimatum is pressure. It's going to push her further away. So all of this hurts your chances when a woman starts pulling away. And even more indicative, right? If you've made these mistakes, it's probably because you don't even know the psychology of keeping a woman attracted to you in the first place. I know that I didn't. I know that not only did I make these mistakes when she was pulling away, a lot of times I made them before she started pulling away, which probably caused her to pull away. I confessed my feelings too soon. I would apologize and explain myself when I thought I was making mistakes. I would buy her gifts and take her out to fancy restaurants, trying to buy her love, you know. The coldness, I never really did the ultimatums, you know. I started making them when she couldn't hang out, and I felt like, oh, I've got to put the pressure on her. So what do you do instead? So I created another video that you can click a link below, where I teach a technique, because all of this revolves around the idea of what really makes a woman fall in love with a guy. Because it's not what you think. And if you've done any of these things, I can almost guarantee that you don't know what really makes a woman fall in love. What a woman makes fall in love is not when a guy is smothering her with affection. In fact, like I said, that's pressure that pulls away, right? I said in the very beginning of this video, what draws a woman towards a man is uncertainty, of not knowing what comes next, not knowing the end of the movie, right? We don't want to watch a movie when we already know the ending. And most women meet a man and she already knows the ending. And if a woman loses interest in you, it's because she met you and she knew the ending of that movie too quickly. And she had no incentive to continue the relationship, to continue getting to know you, because she knew how it was going to end. She knew that you were going to smother her with affection. She knew that she had you. And I said in the very beginning, once a woman knows she has you, it's over. So what do you do instead? I'm going to teach you exactly what to do, a technique that I call the scrambler. And it's all about eliciting the chase in her instead of the other way around. Because most guys chase women, but women want to be the one chasing a man, right? They don't want to be chased. They don't want to be chased. And guys think that by chasing, it's going to get them. But by chasing them, you're pushing them away. They want to chase you. They want the man they have to chase. So how do you get a woman chasing you? That's what I talk about in the video below. You can click the link. It's about 15 minutes long. It goes way more in depth. What I do in the video is I reverse engineer this process of falling in love so that you can actually see what needs to go through a woman's mind for her to fall in love with you. And if you've already made a mistake, if you've already done these things, it's not too late to fix them if you take the right steps from here on out. If you do any more of this, it's over. There's no coming back, right? There's no coming back. But if you take a deep breath, and I know that a lot of guys are in emotional quicksand where they don't feel like they have time, right? They feel like they got to make a move immediately. If that's you, just watch the video and you'll get a much better understanding of what you can do from here on out to not only stop her from pulling away and not only stop women in the future from pulling away, but also just to get them back to you, okay? So click the link below right now to watch the video.